Okay, so this is everything you're gonna need to put together the lamp. You're first gonna need a base of some sort. Hopefully there's, it could be your own design, or it could be this one with the feet on it. You're gonna need uh, 4 sides, depending on how you decide to make the sides. You're gonna need, the front and the back if it's the standard um, build, and then these just all snap together. On the shade, again, 4 sides, the stained glass part, and then the soldered quote unquote part that you'd normally have. This is the base that holds the bottom light together, this cap. Here's the 4 sides that I have. And then the various other parts. Non 3D printed parts are going to be, you're going to need 3, and these are about 11 centimeters long LED strips, depending on what you've got. Obviously you have to cut to however long they are. Some 24, 22 gauge wire, something like that. I'm using, 5-volt LEDs, so I can just plug them into a USB. So I just had one of these USB laying around. It powers it fine. And then all your printed parts that are included in the model. Okay, so we're going to start by assembling the base, and you're going to want to you're going to have these 2 posts that look similar. The longer one is the top one, and the shorter one's the bottom one. You might notice that yours doesn't have a diamond hole there. It has more of a hole that looks kind of like this, but this is just an older version. I glued these together just because with super glue, just to get them so that they're aligned perfectly. You don't have to do that. That was just a test. I probably wouldn't do it later. So then this is just going to screw into the bottom piece and just screw it until it bottoms out. Okay, and then you're going to take this piece, hole on the bottom, screw it in there. Then you're going to take your side pieces. These, if you print it exactly like in the files, these will come apart, or you'll have to put these together. As long as you have a printer that's doing 0.1 millimeter tolerances, you do the tolerance test, and as long as it moves at 0.1 millimeters, these should be really snug and take a little bit of work to snap in, but they'll snap right in to each other, and so they'll stay as a uniform piece. And then you'll just go ahead and slide those down into the 4 slots. I have my 4 different colors here, and then once you've got all those pushed, I'd make sure they're pushed all the way to the bottom for this next step. And then you're going to take this top cap, it's going to go over the post, and then it might take a little bit of wiggling here to get it so that it gets all the pieces through this little channel here. But once you've got that, secure it in there. Then you could take this top coupler here and go ahead and spin it there. So I'm doing this as a dry run before any electronics are added in. I would definitely put it together all the way before you do any electronic work. Then you could also, if you have a base, or you don't have to do this either if you don't like it, but you can slide this base in there. All right, next is going to be assembling the light assembly. You're going to take this piece here first, and then take this post. It's the post. There's no threads on the outside here. Hold the bottom, screw it in. It doesn't screw too far. And then it has this nut. This nut is here to allow for stability there. It'll pull the threads that way so that it's more stable there, because it's going to be holding your shade. You're going to put these side pieces on here. However you eventually end up wanting to wire it, I wouldn't, don't glue these on until you have everything wired, or honestly, with a good tolerance, they stay on pretty well, and once they're wired, they're good. So I do these with the holes facing me, so all the holes here, so the wire will come out through here, and the wiring portion will come later. This piece right here, you can go ahead and test it right now, but it's this little screw that goes through the top. This is what holds the lamp shade on, but we'll keep that off for right now and work on assembling the lampshade. All right, so when it comes to assembling the lampshade in a dry run, there could be a little bit of difficulty if you don't have these glued in. I would wait again to glue these pieces in, but these pieces, you'll have 4 of them, and then they just go into this top in the holes that correspond with their shape, and they're all the same, so it doesn't matter where they go. You can see on this one, I'm still working out some of the print profiles right now. I had 2 on a print profile that went well, and then 2 that I was trying something else, and they kind of got chewed up. So still working on that print portion, which I should have that profile out when this comes out. So you're going to take all of these, and you'll have your shade sides assembled where there's the colored part on the back snapped into the black part. And you just can take it I push it into one side and push it all the way up. So I push it all the way into the side, and then I will snap this side in. There are little snaps about right here. There's a dimple on this part, and there's little holes here, so this will all snap in there. So then you could do that with all of these. Again, I just kind of push it, slide it into one side, push all the way up, and then snap this one in. Then take it all the way to this side, slide it all the way up as far as I can, get it in there, and kind of push these corners together to snap it in. And it's not a very hard snap, but it should keep it all together and allow for you to switch the shades if you want. I would eventually glue these 4 posts in because I don't see any reason not to glue those in. I built this trying to avoid having to glue pieces like this in so that they're interchangeable. So if you get tired of one or you want to repurpose the lamp, you could. And so then those will just snap in right there. And then you've got your lampshade. The final portion is assembling everything together that we've already put together. So this lamp assembly is going to go right in here. These circle parts might fall off if it's still, you're just dry fitting it, but then you can get that, aligned however you'd like there. It could go in a little bit further and it starts twisting the pieces below, but get that aligned, it'll sit and be held together. Let me adjust my camera here. And so then here we have this top, and the post just kind of fits in. There's a little slide in here, and you saw me lose one of the circles, but from the inside, but that's okay because we're just dry fitting. And then you can screw this in here. I found that I get it pretty finger tight and it's not really going anywhere. And if we pull out, there's the final lamp. There we go. And so now we'll disassemble it for our wiring now. All right, so now it's time to do some wiring. Off camera, if you need to learn how to solder, I'm not very good at soldering, so I didn't really show that, but I just soldered, 2 wires to each side, the red to your 5-volt and black to your ground. I am using 5-volt LEDs just so that I can power them with a USB. Depending on what you're using, this setup should work for up to 12 centimeter wide. I think these are 8 centimeter wide wires, or LEDs. So yeah, get that. Have 2 wires. This is about like 30 centimeters. You'll have to judge it. And then what's going up the lamp is about 50 to 60 centimeters. You're gonna want some of that slack, and we'll have to figure out something to do with the slack at the top, just so that you can pop the top off and change the sides if you did want to. But the first thing is have your center post assembled like this. Top post, bottom post, and then this little connector thing. And what you're gonna do is first, with your shorter side, you're gonna run, and I should mention, I just taped the wires together at the ends just to make it easier to kind of flush them or push them through the the post. So then I just push this one through all the way through the bottom, and I pull it through, and kind of have to pull it through and then hold this here. Now I did end up having I cut these LEDs to about 11 centimeters. The diameter or the circumference of this circle is about 11 centimeters, so it's a little bit too big. So I'm gonna have to come in and hot glue some of that. It kind of just depends on how, how long your diodes are. So then I'm gonna take the one that goes up through the top, and I'm gonna pull that through this little diamond here. It's gonna kind of get tangled, or it's gonna get kind of spun a little bit. So we'll play with that a little bit. Sorry for bumping the camera. So again, I got this untangled there, and you'd see there's a lot of play in this. For the moment, I'm just going to use some Scotch tape and just kind of tape it on there crudely. I'll probably come back with some hot glue there, but it's kind of flailing around, so just want to keep it in place just for now. Okay, and then you can weave this all the way through this top hole. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to put this on the base here. So you'll be twisting the whole pillar, so the wires at the bottom get kind of swirly. So you'll just kind of push this all the way through here, push all the way through the bottom, and you push it all the way through the bottom, and then I'm just going to screw this all in here off camera. Alrighty, so now we're going to put this top cap on here. Just put it all the way through here. At this point in time, while we're wiring, you don't have to put the sides on. If you want to, you put the sides on right now. I'm going to come back to that. So you can have these two pieces put together already, and you're going to feed through here, and there we go. And now it's kind of easier to just hold the wires. It's kind of hard to see there, but I'm just kind of holding the wires up and spinning this piece down until it locks, or it gets, I guess not locked, but just tightens to where I'd like it to tighten. Okay, now this next part is, I make sure you have this nut on there. It makes it easier, kind of push it up a little bit. But then you're going to actually want to take, at least for me, it was a lot easier because of the angles to get through this hole right here. I just have like a little piece of wire here, and then I'm going to tape that to the end here, and so that I can, I can feed through here like this, tape it right there, and then pull it through. So I'm going to do that off camera. All right, so I've got this wire fed through here, and it's coming out the back at this moment. Now, this was something that when I was designing, I was trying to figure out a good way to do this, but that's why these threads are so short to get in here. You're gonna have to do a minimal amount of twisting of the wire on the inside, and then this nut right here should keep it all tight there. So the wire is getting twisted around in there. Now, because you want to be able to take this assembly off and then maybe change the sides and things like that, there's not a great thing for the cable management in this version. You're not going to be able to see this part. You can wrap it around here and then tape it. There's a couple other things, but we're gonna just go ahead and kind of wrap it around here at the top, and then I'm gonna just tape it for now, and we're gonna move on to wiring the sides next. So all right, so now we're gonna do the two top lights. So what I've got here is about This one I did one less diode than I did on the centerpiece because they're about the same diameter or circumference. So hopefully that'll work a little bit better on this one. The hole, because I was trying to make things without needing supports that would be easy for anybody to print. You know, it's actually kind of a small hole and it ends up being a triangle, but it should fit. It's just going to be a little snug. So what you'll do is you'll take one end of your wire, and again, these are probably, I don't know, 12, 13 centimeter long wires. It doesn't really matter. I just made them longer so that I can work with them later. And put in one side and kind of pull those tightly through. It might be helpful to kind of hold them off to the side. And then you're going to wrap this around and take these wires as well and shimmy those through. So again, it's going to be kind of tight until you get those out as well. And then you might want to just play around a little bit with the wires to get them so it holds on. Again, you can hot glue this later, but these are going to stay on there pretty tight. Now the next part is a little bit tricky, again, just because of how small the holes are for what we need the wires to go through. So if you look, you kind of want these wires to go into this groove here. So you just kind of hold those over there and shove that in, and now these are on there and that should be held on tight. So the next step is just to do this again just for the other side. So all right, so we're getting close to having our soldering work done. One thing I will say from the last clip, you don't actually duplicate both these sides. Only one of them actually needs leads on it because it's not daisy chained to anything else. It's the last of the chain. So I just heat shrunk this just for now. Since this is my first time putting together and prototyping, it's just, we'll clean that up some other time. But what we're gonna do is make sure that you have the red and the black that are correspond to each side. I almost splice these, but anyways, but you're gonna take, you know, one side from this here over to this side. So I've got these two that are gonna go on there. Hopefully those are gonna go together, and then all of this wrapped up, those two are gonna go to these two right there. And once we have that soldered up, we can go ahead and do a test run. One thing, I've got these like heat shrink, different little sizes of these. So before you actually do the soldering, it might, you know, you put one on the other side, one side, and then you can slide it over and heat shrink it. That's just going to make sure that we don't have any shorts. I guess it's optional, but you might want to use electrical tape or something because we're going to have kind of exposed wires there. So I'm going to go ahead and get those soldered up, and then we'll be ready for the first test. All right, so it's all wired up. I haven't done the finishing touches. It's kind of crazy up here because I realized you didn't need as much slack up here, because really when you start twisting this, if you ever want to take this apart to put different side panels in there, if you twist this, it'll you can very likely get this centerpiece to twist. It's going to twist out. So really you're only twisting this wire down here, so you don't actually need it too much slack up here. I left some just because, again, this is the prototype. You can make that a lot cleaner. Again, with the shade coming down here, you really won't see it, but I'll clean it up later. But this is the moment of truth. I've got it just connected to a USB with this little quick connector. I'm just gonna plug it in right here. And wow, the first try, it is lit up. So I'm going to clean this up and put it all together and see how it all looks together. one quick note before I get going, I was just taking this apart. You can see this how I did it. You know, you unscrew basically this bottom piece. This will be eventually soldered to a longer USB cord. So, but then you can just lay it to the side and start slotting your side pieces in. So, yep, I'm gonna get this put together. All right, so we've got it lit up. I've got my desk lamps off. It's a little bit brighter in the video than in real life. But as you can see, it's lit up the bottom and the top. You can see I still need to clean up some wires. And you can see if you've got the LEDs facing towards the side of the shade, you get some darkness there. It might be good to rotate the internals just 45 degrees and was that 90, whatever. And so then kind of the dark spots are in the corners and it illuminates better. You know, those are some things to definitely try out, and I look forward to everybody's feedback and all the really cool shades and different stained glass that people can come up with.